I've been dreaming of playing a full-fledged Harry Potter video game for years now, where I can live out my fantasy of being a Hogwarts student in Slytherin house, where I'm secretly a dark wizard who would grow up to be someone that Grindelwald and Voldemort would fear one day.
Mental, that one, I'm telling you.
So when Hogwarts Legacy was finally leaked back in 2018, I was over the moon happy that was finally happening. And 5 years later, this past February, finally I was told,
"You're a wizard, Harry."
Is Hogwarts Legacy everything I would have hoped for, both as a fan and as a gamer? Well, let's get into it.
Your potential is limitless. But what form will it take? The journey ahead will reveal what you stand for. The choices you make now will define the legacy of Hogwarts.
What's up guys, it's That Freaking Geek here, and I'm here to give you a Hogwarts Legacy review from the perspective of both a Harry Potter fan and a gamer, because there's a lot of people out there who are wanting to get a next-gen console just to play this game. And there's also gamers out there who are not huge into Harry Potter, who are wondering if the game is good if it didn't, say, have the massive nostalgic IP behind it. Just a quick disclaimer, I'm in Slytherin, don't let the tough fool you, it was a gift. What's nice about this game is that it connects to your Pottermore account, which has your house and your wand all ready to go, and it connects to the game, which kind of puts a personal touch to it, rather it being random. And knowing that hat, it probably would have just looked at my hair and immediately thought,
Ha! Another Weasley. I know just what to do with you. Gryffindor!
I wanted my year at Hogwarts to be so eventful that it would rival some of Harry Potter's best years. And what makes it different this time is that it actually takes place 100 years before Tom Riddle was even born, which means unique characters and maybe a few unique locations. And what's nice about this as well is that you get to create your own character, and I have to say that I look pretty good.
How do I look?
Exceptionally ordinary.
Brilliant.
The beginning of the game had me smiling from ear to ear because the intro has you traveling to Hogwarts, and then all of a sudden you get attacked by a dragon. Then you end up at an old wizard's cliffside castle, and then you end up in Gringotts, and then you finally get to Hogwarts, and you're of course late for the house sorting ceremony. The beginning of the game did a really good job of just introducing you to the premise of the story. You are joining in as a 5th year, which means you have a lot to catch up in, and so you have a lot of classes and a lot of spells to learn. And on top of all that, you are special because this is a Harry Potter story. You are special because you have this thing called ancient magic. You can see and you can tap into the powers of this. Does that make me the chosen one?
But I am the chosen one. Okay, sorry.
Unfortunately, other than the good story premise, the actual narrative isn't something particularly great. Now, it's perfectly suitable, don't get me wrong. Going to classes within Hogwarts is a lot of fun, and exploring and having an adventure outside the castle walls is amazing. But I think that this game doesn't get two things right with the story, something I think is quite important to a Harry Potter story, and that its villain and its friendship themes are not as strong. The friends you make at school feel a little bit closed off. There isn't that classic trio feeling to it, like Ron, Hermione, and Harry. No, instead they feel a bit more like one-off quests. They don't get connected, they don't get woven into each other. They don't feel like a friend group that you make at your school year. Instead, and while it is fun, don't get me wrong, you go into some cool adventures with those friends that you make, but none of it feels connected.
Why is it when something happens, it is always you three?
Believe me, Professor, I've been asking myself the same question for 6 years.
The villain is also a missed opportunity here. He is not a compelling bad guy. Instead, what we have here is an old, angry goblin who is tired of the way of how his kind has been treated by the wizarding kind. And he's just not threatening, he just feels generic and angry, which results in a very forgettable villain. As a Harry Potter fan, you're going to absolutely love all the quests and adventures that you go on in Hogwarts Legacy, but that's mainly thanks to the incredible job that they've done at bringing the lore to life. But if you're just a gamer that isn't attached to the lore, you might find it a little bit unimaginative and a little bit, monotonous. Like I said, Harry Potter fans, we're in for a treat here, but the reason why both fans and gamers are going to be sticking around is because the casting of spells in this game is a heck of a lot of fun. At first I was a little bit worried that the spellcasting and the broom riding and the other gameplay elements wouldn't be that good in Hogwarts Legacy, but I'm happy to say that it's actually pretty great, and not only just for gamers, but I think it's also not that complicated that new gamers will be able to get the hang of it too. After you collect your wand from Ollivanders, you are set on course to go learn over 25 different spells and some mischievous spells that you learn outside of class. Speaking of which, I actually was so excited to learn Avada Kedavra that I actually learned Avada Kedavra before I even learned Wingardium Leviosa.
Stop. You're going to take someone's eye out. Besides, you're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
You have a basic spell which is your go-to when you're hitting the attack button, and that does moderate damage to your enemies. But when it becomes more deadly and more powerful is when you start to chain the other spells together. The gameplay is so engaging as you learn how to chain up the spells all together, and you throw in some cool counteract spells and the ability to use ancient magic. The gameplay is a lot of fun and you're not going to want to put down that controller. The combat doesn't really get that much more detailed, and I think that within the inevitable sequel they'll be able to build upon it quite nicely because the base here is a lot of fun. Now going on to that, the unforgivable curses are actually quite OP. So much so that if you upgrade your Cruciatus curse and Avada Kedavra, you can get to the point where you can literally just insta-kill everyone instantly. Well, now that is pretty awesome, unfortunately by the end you just feel like it's very unfulfilling. It feels disappointing like how Quidditch isn't in Hogwarts Legacy, and the headmaster, when he announced it in the beginning of the year, it was quite annoying. Talking about the headmaster, he's actually played by Simon Pegg. When they announced it, I thought that was amazing. I thought he would have a big part in the game, and he's actually very underutilized here, and that I wasn't happy about that. Sorry, to get back to what I was getting at there. Yep, no Quidditch, but thankfully the broom flying is exhilarating. It is so much fun zipping around the grounds of Hogwarts. But on top of that, you also get to go animalback riding, which also feels amazing. Being able to relive your favorite moments of flying with Buckbeak is extraordinary. And the grounds of Hogwarts and Hogwarts itself, it will take your breath away.
There's the famous bridge. Think of all the magic holding it up. I mean, look at it. And the owlery. That's a bit of solid architecture, isn't it?
Flying tips and a jaunt around Hogwarts. This is quite the tour, Everett.
Hogwarts Legacy's greatest strength is absolutely its incredible world design, which was taken straight out of the books and inspired by the phenomenal movies. From Hogwarts Castle that looks exceptional to Hogsmeade that is an amazing wonders around every corner, to the vast open landscapes with incredible vistas, to the little sleepy villages scattered throughout the open world. It is such a joy to get lost and explore all of it. You can tell the game designers love Harry Potter lore because the whole world is brimming with magical life. Whether you are helping your students with a lost item in the Black Lake, or defeating dark wizards terrorizing the local village, or maybe destroying spiders in the Forbidden Forest, you are in a Harry Potter wonderland in all of it. It's too bad then that they kind of overdid some of the stuff, especially when it comes to the caves and the amount of spiders you gotta kill.
Why spiders? Why couldn't it follow the butterflies?
The level design is fine enough, but I got very sick of the amount of caves that you have to go and explore, and they try their hardest to make the interiors look and feel different enough, but most of the time it doesn't, and I find myself every time when I got to the entrance of the cave just rolling my eyes. The world is also scattered with various collectibles, with one collectible allowing you to improve your lock opening skill a la Memora, which gives you more access to the variety of clothing items. This makes the role-playing experience so much fun because being able to switch between the various items of clothing without changing how the stats are doing allows me to, do a different look for the different feeling. And so I would go from looking like a diligent Hogwarts student to being out in the wild looking like a badass aura.
Descendo! Defender! Crusader! Stupefy! Accio! Descendo!
There is a lot to love in Hogwarts Legacy, and I fully recommend this game to Harry Potter fans, and more so to Harry Potter fans who haven't really played games before, but I have a little less enthusiasm and recommend it to gamers because of its underwhelming story and the gameplay that never really reached the limit it could have. This is a really solid role-playing video game, especially for Harry Potter fans, thanks to the excellent spellcasting and the extraordinary world design. And this also happens to be a great gateway game for new gamers. As a huge Harry Potter fan, I really want to give this a really high score, but I gotta give this game an objective look, because if you strip away the incredible lore that they've nailed to just the game itself, I find it a little bit disappointing, especially compared to the masterpieces that are out there. And so it's still pretty great. I'm going to give it an 8.5. It's so close to being an excellent game, but the magnificent magical lore cannot excuse the flaws that this game has. But as a Harry Potter fan, I could look past a lot of those flaws because it was such a joy to play. Thanks so much for watching. Have you played Hogwarts Legacy? What did you think? I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know down in the comments. But that's it from me. Maybe hit that subscribe button, like this video if you liked it. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.